Anderson Gittens, author of 18 books. And William, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes. Welcome to Caribbean Pepper Pod, 106.3 FM.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me first say good morning to the listeners on the World Wide Web, the New York tri-state area, the Caribbean and Barbados diaspora, my brother Sherlin, his wife Merlene, his nephew Kevin, my beloved wife Magnola, the Barbados Ex-Police Association, Dr. Randolph Bourne, and the Ex-West Indian Service Association.
Okay, well, I guess you have some of your friends and family listening this morning, I hope.
Sure they are listening.
I heard that, I was speaking to Randolph about you, and he spoke very highly about you, I'll tell you that. And he said that he met you in the academy when he was in the army or something like that.
In Barbados, yes.
Yes, and he said that you are a very wonderful human being, and he wanted me to really have a little chat with you this morning. And I
appreciate that.
After the army, you became a police officer?
Yes, I became a police officer. As a matter of fact, I was the first established police artist.
When you say police artist, what do you mean?
Well, the duties of a police artist would be to discuss or extract from a witness information that will allow you to draw a sketch of the suspect.
Oh, okay. All right.
A composite artist.
Oh, wow. So you can make a sketch of that person and put it in the Advocate or the Nation or somebody like that, something like that, right?
Yes, yes.
And would you say you were pretty accurate on that?
Yes, I would say so, because some of the persons that were arrested based on the sketch, and it was extremely likeness to the suspect.
Wow, wow, that's heavy, huh? To me,
I must say though that
I don't have a clue about it, so to me it's pretty heavy.
I would say that having that gift would be a plus for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in what year or so you were a policeman in Barbados?
Well, I was appointed to the Royal Barbados Police Force the 21st of January 1983.
Okay, all right. So you would not have known a guy by the name of Cyrus.
He was before my time.
Yes.
I've heard of his exploits, but he was before my time.
Yeah, he was some kind of a character. Then you left the police force, and I think you got a transfer to.
Right, I got a transfer into the service, the actual service of itself, and at that juncture, I performed the task of an artist at the Ministry of Education. And during that period, there was a vacancy at the Cathedral campus where I was seconded for a year. And while there, the thought dawned upon me that I should seek more certification. So I applied for leave, and I traveled to the United States of America, where I pursued a bachelor's degree in media arts. On completing that degree, I returned to Barbados and took up my substantive post and continued in that area until then. I got another transfer then into the admin stream. So here I was using my skills along with administration.
Okay, sounds good. Just before we get into the writing of the books, in 1983, when you first went into the Barbados Police Force, and today, would you say that crime has escalated since those days?
The reception is breaking. Could you repeat the question again, please?
I had asked if you would say that crime from 83 until now, if it has escalated since those days.
I really can't speak to that because I would have to have statistics before me so I can compare and contrast.
Okay, that's understood. All right, so what inspired you to start writing books? And what was the first book you wrote about?
Okay. When I returned to Barbados after studying, I thought about giving back to my country. And this took a while thinking through, trying to decipher what would be a good thing I can do if I'm going to give back to Barbados. And the thought dawned upon me that I should start writing. And it was a challenge, but then once I got started, I discovered that a number of things started to happen for me. The very first book that I published was called Images of Yesteryear in Barbados, Volume 1. And this book took off because the images that were placed in this book, many persons could identify with them, because you had the Mobby woman, you had Rolling a Roller, and you had things like that that people can relate to. So it did extremely well. And after that started to do so good, I decided then to produce my second book, which would have been Volume 2 of the said book, of the same team, actually.
Okay. All right. You wrote 18 books in all, and
Yes.
that's quite a number of books that you have done. Give us some more of it. I don't have a clue about none of you.
Well, let me give you some more names.
Right.
The third book was titled Building for the Future, and that book contained some of our Barbados's national heroes, where persons can look at and extract information. And it was a kind of a comparative analysis text. The third book, the fourth book actually, was called Color Me. Now this text was produced for the little ones. So you had images of box carts, people climbing coconut trees, people fishing, a whole cadre of local, culturally relevant images that little children can color. You know, if you take your children to the doctor's office and you want to keep them quiet, you give them something to color, and this book served that purpose. And at that time, when I produced this book, I was given back to Barbados by teaching at my son's primary school. So I thought that if I had created something like this, that this would also help, and this did extremely well. My fifth book is called Mise en Scène. It's staging. In French, it means staging an action. Here's where I did a study of the Ministry of Education building, the landscape, and I wrote in context the structure of that building, the landscape, and it did well as well. Then the sixth book is called Landmarks. I've identified strategic landmarks across Barbados and provide specific historical data that relate to that book. The seventh book is called Technique Demonstration. Now, technique demonstration was conceptualized out of the idea that I was the manager of my son's cricket team at Wesley Hall School. And as I watched these youngsters on the field playing and observed the energy and the approach that they used to play the cricket, the thought came to me, why don't you produce something that the children can relate to? And this book did extremely well in that area. Then my eighth book is called Establishing Barbados. Establishing Barbados relates to the different protocols, systems, businesses, and ideologies that were established in Barbados throughout the years. Then my ninth book is called Monuments. When you look across the landscape of Barbados, there are several monuments that the tourists tend to gravitate towards. So because I saw that, I was guided and directed to produce something along that line so that people can relate to. The 10th book is called Focus. Now, the pseudonym name is Focus, but what I've actually did was to write about myself by using the term focus. And you know, in life, you have to be focused. The 11th book is called People. And People is a story about people sharing information. And at the end of the day, those persons that were sharing the information, because they got it wrong, they misled people. So that is also an interesting book. The 12th book is called People of Conversation. Now, I strategically identify persons across the world that had made significant impact upon the lives of all people, persons like Dr. Martin Luther King. So that book contains people like himself. And then the 13th book is called Have You Considered This Approach? This question relates to how we are teaching our children in the schools, what type of systems we should use, how we should use new approaches, because sometimes you are using a method, a strategy, and a system, and it's not working. So it would be better if you make an adjustment, and this came out of that. The 14th book is called Barbados in Review. Barbados in Review contains 365 pages. In this text, I am examining Barbados' culture from 1966 to 2016. The 15th book is there anything new under the sun? Now that text it's a coincidental question which is discussed in 290 pages. It is provoking and it's an analytical conversation. And the last book which I've just produced is called The Children of Immigrants, Volume 1. Now, The Children of Immigrants is a character study of human behavior that is fueled by the fulfilling innate of human needs that work together with the factors of economics, environmental, political, and social synergies captured in 290 pages. And that's a summary of my 18 books.
Well, I gotta say, congratulations. I'm sure that you're thinking about your 19th book already.
Actually, I've started my 19th book. The title of that is called The Conversation. And this text is centered around a parent having a discussion with their children about the historical educational developments across the world. And just let me say that all my books have an international flair. They are not only written within a Caribbean context, but they're written within an international context. So people from all parts. Remember, the Creator is in charge, and He expresses Himself through us via our gifts.
Okay, thanks very much, and congratulations and all the best with your books. I look forward to speaking to you sometime in the future.
Thank you very much, and all the best to your production.
Okay, thank you. That was Mr. William Anderson Gittens, author of 18 books, and he's on his 19th, Barbadian born, and he's doing excellent work.
The next time you're feeling hungry, come and